Hello everyone, I welcome you to my presentation. I've done a few compilation of our projects we've done on the topic of climate adaptation and energy efficiency. First we'll start with a video. I found it's a documentary about the future of energy. I wanted to put some kind of introduction, but instead of statistics, I thought that maybe it would be best to see what is happening in the world today, and then to focus on the smaller things we've done in the region. Thank you. Okay. So in the region of Istria, we're not building nuclear reactors, that's a no-go. But still, we have some good practices that I would like to show you. The first one is the project LifeSec Adapt. Our friends from Pesaro know about it. They're also working as project partners on it. And it's mostly focused on the national adaptation plans and adaptation plans of small communities.
Sorry.
Bye-bye. Let's go further. The region of Istria, our part of working on the project is the action C3, which is the adaptation of local climate adaptation strategy and plans to SAP integration. So we are working with small communities of Istria and trying to define a common methodology which is focused on the drafting of the climate adaptation strategy on a municipal level. Of course, we are here also cooperating with the Italian partners. The second step is the climate adaptation vision, objectives and targets definition in each municipality. Step 3, the identification and selection of adaptation options, including existing SAP actions. Step 4, drafting and adopting through municipal council decision of the municipal adaptation strategy. From this, the step 5 is a logical next action, is the policy recommendation paper which each municipality has to adopt. So this is not only technical, but also involves a political part for the councils to accept this kind of proposal. So for the first step, the definition of a common methodology, we have to set up a political vision, the definition on a project scale. Then potential adaptation options, which are worked by our partners also on the LifeSec Adapt project. Then prioritization and selection of best options we produced. Then municipal climate adaptation strategy and plan. Step 2, the climate adaptation vision. So the teams define objectives and goals on risks and vulnerabilities, political priorities in medium and long term, financial resources needed for the actions, and the planning areas. The municipalities, which are also partners and stakeholders, we have to draft a list of potential adaptation options, which is another package on the project. And we have to assess the potential of measures included in each SAP. The EU expert municipalities train the municipalities on defining priorities and selecting the best options. SWIM and IDA. SWIM is our lead partner, and IDA is the Istrian Development Agency, which are working on coordinating all the municipalities, both in Italy and Croatia. They organize territorial tables with communities in order to prepare them and bring forth the whole idea to take into consideration. So the municipalities then draft a climate adaptation strategy which is followed by the climate adaptation plan with a set of indicators. So the municipal council and the mayor adapt portal are also included in this drafting of the plan. So from our part, we are making a common index and then the methodology. Istria region, with the cooperation of SWIM and IDA, are working on the also policy recommendation paper, trends for the North Adriatic area, that is being sent to the EU and national policymakers. It will arrive, we're still not done with it. So these are some results I extrapolated. It is based on the C3, which is being done by the region of Istria. So we have a blueprint for the elaboration of a climate adaptation political vision. We have a collection of sources of climate adaptation good practices, a feasibility matrix including a set of criteria for the selection and prioritization of feasible options, a common index for the drafting of the municipal climate adaptation strategy and plan. This is all for the LifeSec Adapt project. We are now finalizing the methodology. We had a draft we presented last year in Ascoli Piceno in Italy, and I think in maybe November we will finalize all the actions and produce a common methodology that will be used by the municipalities for their plans. Moving on to the next project, Simpla. This is a small project financed by Horizon 2020. The region of Istria participated only as a local authority. We had no actions being taken directly by us, but we were assisting Rea Kvarner, which is the energy agency of the Primorsko-Goranska county, in actions that were made. So, Simpla supports local authorities in harmonizing their SEAP and SAMS. The project targets small and medium-sized municipalities with a population between 50,000 and 350,000 inhabitants, proposing a four-step approach to foster harmonized planning. In Istria, we only have the city of Pula, which is meeting these criteria. The next step is dedicated training and coaching sessions based on a sound methodology devised at transnational level, led to the joint development of sustainable energy and mobility plans. This is the path to harmonization that was proposed by the partnership. The Area Science Park of Trieste, probably many of you know about it, they are our lead partners, so they invested a lot of time and resources in developing this plan. It is, like it says here, a practical step-by-step tool to guide the harmonization process for the small municipalities. Local authorities are offered tailored in-class training and webinars to enhance their strategic planning capacity. We had this year, I think, about 10 webinars that were produced either by the partners, like the Area Science Park, or by some external experts, and they were very good. We had people from all around Croatia, Italy, Slovenia, Austria, even Germany, and some other countries participating in the webinar, asking questions and discussing about the topics. The next step is coaching, so dedicated experts support to develop harmonization plans for local authorities benefiting the M-class training. And finally, the energy and mobility planned together. So the goal is to produce SECAPs which are defined and tailor-made for the communities. This is the Simpla website here, and you can find all the resources that the project produced. They are free of charge. You can download, watch the webinars. There is some really interesting things there. Moving on, these are the projects that the Istrian Regional Energy Agency implemented. So we have support, which has been financed from Interreg Europe. Here we can see the total budget and the budget of IRENA. The objective of the project was to improve the implementation of regional development policies and programs, in particular programs for investment, for growth and jobs, and where relevant, ETC programs addressing the transition to a low-carbon economy. These are the main results for the Istrian regional county. The action plans for improving the performance of energy policy instruments in the region, including monitoring plans for their implementation. The next project, also implemented by IRENA, is the Project Energy, which is joint actions for energy efficiency. Again, you can see the budget here. And the objective was to enhance and improve the coordination and performance of energy plans in order to achieve the EU and national targets on energy efficiency in public buildings. The main results for the region were the establishment of focus groups, which will develop a joint methodology for the increase of number of implemented energy efficiency actions and plans implemented on the local and regional level, to improve the reduction of energy consumption and greenhouse gas emissions, and to enable the public administration to better implement instruments and improve access to financing opportunities through public-private investments. The project Maestrale, project is focused to promote the development of blue energy in the Mediterranean area as a key sector for sustainable growth. More specifically, it aims to create the necessary preconditions to better exploit the renewable energy sources in the marine environment whilst preserving the environmental and cultural values of the Med area. Just to add something here, last year in 2017, IRENA invited me also to participate in a training session in Sweden. We went there, we saw what Sweden is doing. Their startup companies, they're making really a next step in the development of small energy plants. We saw tidal waves, power plants, we saw offshore wind turbines, which do not have to be constructed on the bottom of the sea, they're flotation. So it's something new that maybe even in Croatia can be adapted. So here we can see the blue energy potential analysis. This is Istria and this is the North Adriatic Sea. The temperatures. The main results for the Istrian county, we had IRENA implemented two pilot projects. One was in Rovin for the old hospital, Martin Horvat. Moving on, the project happened. Holistic approach and platform for the deep renovation of the Mediterranean residential built environment. The objective was to promote of deep retrofitting of buildings with special regard to the Mediterranean area and the residential built stock. For the region of Istria, again, the main results, establishment of living lab methodology, documentation for a complete energy renovation of the kindergarten Gudalin, building in Buzet, and two residential buildings that represent part of the mining heritage of Russia. We will come back to the kindergarten Gudalin, which was the focus of another project I will present in moments. Project Alter Energy. Well, this was my first project I was working on for the region of Istria. We started in 2011 and we produced some interesting results. So, the area of implementation, Alter Energy is also focused on small Adriatic communities. So, the communities had to be under 10,000 inhabitants. That was the goal, and why? Because it was thought that if the community is smaller, the impact and the transition of knowledge would be faster. So we chose Novigrad here and the city of Buzet. We had a call, of course, to express public interest from all the cities, but I think 7 applied. So, in Novigrad, we mostly renovated the kindergarten. We changed we replaced the old windows with energy efficient ones. We had a big investment also from the city of Novigrad, which invested their funds, 120,000 in cooperation with the Energy Efficiency Fund. And we replaced also the insulation. The city of Novigrad constructed a new heating system, new LED light systems. So we made a whole renovation. But this was like a classic intervention. We can see here the pictures of the works. And this is what has been done. New lights, pavements, windows. This is the setup for the floor heating systems, which has been done. Buzet is a more interesting story, and it's because we've done something new here. This is the first of its kind intervention, and we're talking about a solar geothermal combined heating system, which is a hybrid in essence. So the total investment was just below 170,000 euros. The region of Istria invested 154,000 and the city of Buzet 15,000 euros. The works included the excavation of soil and the building of 6 underground water tanks of 27 cubic meters each. Next, we made a new boiler room with a heat pump, which is of 84 kilowatts power. We also made the piping and pipe connections throughout the kindergarten. We made the system automatic in controlled heating zones. We had 8 heating zones throughout the kindergarten. The hybrid part of this is the solar panel field, which was built next to the kindergarten. And we can see here the pictures. I will explain everything. So these are the underwater tanks that were being built. Here we can see the pictures when they were completed. The 6 ones here, it's not visible. This is the inverter heat pump that was installed, and here we can see the solar panel field. What does it all do? So the solar panels heat, they accumulate the energy of the sun and they store it underground in the concrete tanks. So the water during the summer heats up. We reached 50-55 degrees Celsius underground, and the soil around the tanks also starts to heat up. Not much, but still a few degrees. While during the summer the heating system is not active, they do not need heating. So all the energy is stored. In the transition period, so we are talking about either spring or autumn, the system is completely autonomous, so they do not need any energy except for the heat pump to heat the whole kindergarten. So everything is being done by the tanks. They just distribute the energy. When winter arrives, the heat pump also engages in full mode and it drains all the power from the tanks. So during winter, the tanks are not at 50 degrees Celsius, they form ice inside. It's -1, -2 degrees Celsius. And that is the limit in which this heat pump can operate. So we also, like every system, we need also a backup system, and this was made, it's not visible here, but here next to the heat pump and the boiler, there are heaters, electrical heaters, which are only being used in the extreme events that the temperature drops, I don't know, to -15. These events are so rare that it is not efficient to plan the heat pump for these extremes. So you would waste a lot of money and a lot of energy building for extremes. So we built for the statistically average. We included all the temperatures for Buzet over the past few years, but in the extreme events we have electric heaters. Here we can see what I just explained. The system is modular, so it is not, you can adapt it for every building you need. So if you need more energy, you can build a larger water storage area, more tanks, more volume, and you can build more solar fields. So it's basically one of the first systems that is built like this. Here we can see the system automatization saves energy by automatically regulating the air temperature in each zone. The director of the kindergarten, she needs only to press the temperature on a panel on her computer, and she gets the temperature she wants. She can, I don't know, if one zone is next to the south, she can reduce the temperature there a bit and rise it in another zone. So it's completely consumer comfortable, let's say. The next project is holistic. This project was done by the region of Istria in cooperation with the Splitsko-Dalmatia County. They were the lead partner, and it mostly addressed the problems of fire prevention and mitigation of natural risks. So what have we done here? We designed 2 fireboats. The first one is a 24-meter fireboat with all the necessary gear and equipment, and the other is an 8.5 general purpose fireboat. Why have we done this? I don't know if any of you remember the disaster of the Adriatic, which happened just outside the coast of Pula. We had no way, only luck helped. With all the intervention of the firefighters of the even port of Rijeka, we were very, very lucky to escape a natural disaster. The Adriatic was a ship, a transport ship, which was carrying trucks that were loaded with oil, matches, and other flammable stuff, and it caught fire. So what happened? The hull of the ship was so heated up that the small boats of the firefighters in the local ports could not reduce the heat. The ship was destined for disaster. The firefighters could not get in to reduce the flames, to extinguish the fires. So with a bit of luck, even with the help of the Port of Rijeka, they managed to subdue the fire by cooling the plates with water cannons. So this 24-meter fireboat is designed to actually help with this kind of situations. Plus, what was also we also found out that we do not have any barriers that could stop any oil spills. So if you have a big ship that sank, that went to the bottom of the sea, we did not have as many kilometers of flotation barriers to help contain the natural disaster by oil spills. So these are the results that were produced by that. One other thing we made through the holistic project, and it builds upon Mr. Roman's presentation, we installed and upgraded, of course, the fire surveillance system for the region of Istria firefighters. So we built an infrared, we purchased an infrared camera, and we placed it on an old military antenna, a tower that was used for an antenna. And it detects fires even before they spread. So when you have ignition, when the fire starts, the temperature is very different from the other area. With optics, the firefighters stated that they cannot detect it right away. They have to wait for smoke. So you have to see the smoke rising, and then you know it's a fire. This type of camera detects even before, because you can see the infrared image. We installed it in the public institution of Kamenjak, which is also a natural preserve. Of course, our military drills there, does their drills, but still, they had another problem with trespassing. So this camera also mitigates that problem, because after 10 o'clock, when it's dark, nobody is allowed to go into the park. People were making barbecues there, sleeping all night, so there was always a potential for a fire disaster. So this camera also solved that. This is all. A bit abrupt conclusion. We are still working on new projects, but momentarily we do not have, except for the LifeSec Adapt and Simpla projects, we do not have any other that concerns the climate adaptation process. Irena and our other regional development agencies are working more on projects. My department is mostly focused now on other things, but who knows, maybe in the future we can also find some partnership here and we'll make something new. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.